Before I introduce, I want you all to see a video, and later I will introduce the speaker to you. This is from BlueCoat. You have the topic in front of you. The next big thing in IT, it is the unified web security. Today's speaker from BlueCoat is going to present this topic, and I will introduce him after the videos. I would like to introduce you the speaker from BlueCoat today, Ms. Anjani Kumar, and who is a consulting systems engineer from BlueCoat. Anjani Kumar has more than 10 years of experience in network and security. Worked with varied companies like Wipro, Citrix, and presently working with BlueCoat Systems as systems engineer, handling operations in South India. I welcome Anjani Kumar to share perspective.
Have you guys seen the video? Guys, is there any key takeaways from the video? So, anyone want to say that?
Wherever you go, security will follow.
Exactly. So even you would have observed the scenarios where when he doesn't use his tablet or even his smartphone or his laptop, there's no security guards, right? So basically, wherever you are, however you access, basically we ensure that you are secure. So to start with that, just I would like to give the brief background of BlueCoat. We are a 15 years old company with an annual revenue about 500 million. And we have a global footprint in almost most of the countries and direct presence in 32 countries. And we are the only vendor who is being rated, who is in the leaders quadrant, either either could be Gartner or could be Forrester, right? We are the only guys in the web security as well as WAN optimization. So we are in the leaders quadrant in both the technologies. So we've been we've been as I said, like the third point, the fourth point also like said the same thing. Recognized leader in say web security gateway as well as WAN optimization. So these are the two key areas where we operate. right? And the last one, like we have close to around 15,000 customers worldwide, right? This is a brief background about the BlueCoat. Right. Our customers, Fortune 88, in Fortune 500 companies, 88% of our customers in Fortune 88 of Fortune 500 companies, right? So it includes like JP Morgan, Nestle, and these are the few, to name few, these are the customers. And if you see 30% of Fortune 10,000 companies, we have our presence. So that's a level what, that's a reach where we have. And if you see world's large 10 service providers, see like, all largest 10 service providers use our products. Either it could be WAN optimization or it could be web security, proxy, or even the content filtering. When the worldwide major government organizations, they use our solutions. To move forward, this is a slide which I was talking about in the third point in the first slide, right? Even in the Gartner, we are in the leader space as well as even in the security as well as WAN optimization. With this, I'll be moving forward with the market trends, right? See, in the market trends, when we talk about the market trends today, like, the most of the organizations, how the security paradigm is like, it's evolving, and what is driving those security, right? We observe few reasons like why this web security is so important to each and every organization. Number one, right? The cloud applications. At least 84%, today we see on an average 84% of the organizations, either they are connected to web applications in one or the other way. And most of these customers, they see that, web application, adapting the SaaS-based applications at a security risk. Could be like, anyone accessing in between, they can sniff the packet and they can do any kind of an attack they can launch. So the cloud applications are increased over a time, but still the adoption has been decreased. Like, the security concerns are not addressed completely for the SaaS-based applications. If you look at rich media, right? The second one, the rich media, the video is like, if you see that internet, the growth in the internet for last 5 years, the traffic growth in the internet, especially if you see the video is dominant, and it is expected to reach. This is some of the analysis what we got it from the few research people, like, what they say is like, 90% of the traffic would be video in the internet next year or coming years. This is what the expectation, this is what is expected. And the third trend, the social networking. The social networking is like, the days are gone where we can block the social networking or the Facebook in the organizations, where today, like, is an increasing demand to allow the Facebook for employees is increased across the organization, and nobody can afford to block it. And by allowing the social networking access, either it could lead to an productivity loss, or even there could be a lot of security breach. Even allowing the social networking, either we need to address even the security threats as well. The fourth one, the mobility. This is something like, which has been increasing on and on. If you see, like, by 2016, they are expected to have around 350 million users to have either use a smartphone or a tablet, or they can use their own devices, which is BYOD, bring your own devices, right? So while we give access, why do we give? One is we can increase the user productivity, even offline, like, when they can have an email access when they're at home, they can reply, like, to increase the user productivity, as well as when we give an access, we need to ensure that we address the security concerns while with the mobile devices as well. The last one, the malware. While with this trends, like, adapting the cloud applications and the rich media as well as social networking and mobility, we need to address the security concerns. If you look at, right, like the malware, it's every day, like, if you see, like, every day there is every 2 minutes, the average, every 2 minutes there is a new attack launched, web-based attack. Every 2 minutes, that's average what we have. So we need to ensure that we address even the security concerns along with the market trends. With that, when we talk about evolving threat landscape, right, the malnets, the first one, the malnets is nothing but the malware networks. What we call it as malware network. Malware networks is nothing but it's a SaaS-based approach. How it works is there is already an infrastructure which can be used to launch an attack. So this becoming like very famous. If you see, like this, there was almost like 240% increase in these malnets. And all the attacks will be is launched in 2012 or 2013 will be. It's predicted to be almost 2/3 of the attacks will be through malnets. So we need a security vendor who can focus or who can analyze how this malnet works. Every day the malnets, the way their network infrastructure, their servers, every day it's changing. Right? For example, say like if there is a zero-day attack, right? The first time the zero-day attack, like what they do is most of the security companies, they block the entire domain itself. If it is an unknown domain, what happens if the next day if they change the domain? It's again the attack goes through. The third day again, if they change a different domain, they can do it. Every day, if you see, the millions of websites are created, right? So we need a security infrastructure where we can understand not only by the domain, by the attack pattern. Right? The social networking. Right? The social networking is so complex. If you see, like 1 in every 16 attacks are launched to the social networking. For example, in 2012, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it's 2011. There was a post which is given in the Facebook saying that US attacked Iran as well as Saudi Arabia. And the moment there was a click to watch the video, just download the software. The moment you click that video, in 30 seconds, right, there's 60,000 PCs were infected in just 30 seconds. And today, if you see, the malware lifetime is just than 2 hours. Less than 2 hours, the malware lifetime. Right? And along with that, the social networking, right? With the social networking, you can access everything. Is as good as there's an internet within the internet, right? The days are gone where you just access, you post something, you download something. Today, if you see Facebook/Coca-Cola, it's like a business site, right? Facebook/XYZ, it could be a business site altogether than the social networking. My IT has given an application which I access my intranet applications. Along with those, I can download my own applications, which is not mandated from IT, which could be according to my needs, right? So it's no more. It's an IT controlled environment. Like it's moving on from there to a user mandate, right? From there, in the past, if you see, most of the equipments or everything, the network was controlled from complete IT. Right? Today, it is most of the cloud-based applications where the users will be connected to the internal applications from anywhere they are, which IT has very less control. When it comes to devices, in the past, users used to have, when I started my career with IBM, where we used to have only one laptop, so we're not allowed to use anything. Today, if you look at, right, users have multiple devices where they can access the same resources with the different devices, with their own device or with the corporate device. There's no more restriction or it's controlled. We cannot control no more the user. So from office-based employees to the employees are morely on remote. For example, especially if you take on mine, my corporate office is based in Sunnyvale, but we in BlueCoat in India, we have around 5 people who always connected through mobile, either through mobile or through laptops or through my iPad. We always connect to the corporate network and access all the applications what I can access through my laptop. Right. Securing the network. In the past, we were talking about only the securing the network, but we were never bothered about the securing the user. So all we used to do is just install an antivirus which blocks some kind of viruses. Apart from that, we never had any user level intelligence. So we were always talking about IPS, IDS, and a firewall which blocks the attacks on the network level, right? With this this landscape, no matter all the trends what we saw and the attacks, the evolution what we saw, with that, what we need to do is whether the employee is in his office or is in a branch office or is a remote worker or through a mobile, no matter where is he, how he is connecting. So we need to ensure he is accessing the application securely and is as well as the applications are protected without affecting or infecting from any malwares or known threats. Right? With that, we have an use case. We're keeping in all this paradigm, whether the user is from office or a branch office or from a mobile. Using that, we created these use cases can be different for each offices, each organization. It can be unique. few organizations, they can have a unique kind of policies. What we see from our perspective, from BlueCoat perspective, is we divided the use cases into three different use cases. One, to start with, the green, right? When the user is in office, right, the malware is blocked and the Facebook access is provided, but it's read only. And the mobile application on his mobile, the Facebook is as well is allowed, right? But allow the box.com and Dropbox is blocked. The Dropbox is nothing but it's again like a mega upload kind of a website, right? It is known to be more malicious site, right? And no, all the policies are there, but still we log all the logs and we cache it. Right? The next one comes the yellow zone. The same user sitting in a corporate device, but in uncontrolled network, could be from his coffee shop or come from a remote office or from his home, could be anywhere, but with an controlled with an IT equipment, right? Even in that case, we ensure that malware is always blocked, and we log all the data when he is accessing through the corporate device. Along with that, we block uploads on the Facebook, but we allow the Facebook. But that's something we need to keep in mind. When he's in corporate, we can allow to upload the data, upload the pictures to the Facebook, but when he's the remote, we can block it. Regardless, he's connected to the corporate net with the IPsec, or if he's connected to or not, but still we can block it. Or we can block it. It's a cloud-based solution what we have. So again, I can come into we can talk about that more in the coming slides. The last one, the red zone, when the user is accessing through the mobile phones. Right? So malware is blocked always, no matter is from the control or an uncontrolled device, whether it's from a corporate LAN or is in a private network. Right? Malware is always blocked. I'll play the corporate policies. It could be a corporate policy, could be like block pornography or block XYZ categories. Right? Always block it and log the data regardless is in an office or is outside, whether he's using a corporate device or a public device. Right? You log the data always and optimize as well as shape. Right? So with this, right, we create a user context. We have a whole user context. That means, like, whether he's in a corporate device or is a public, is in his own device, whether he's in a corporate network or is in a private network. Regardless of that, we have a policies, which we call it as a user context, right? And our policies, whatever we configure or we create IT policies, right? It should be according to this, right? With that, like when we talk about the requirement for the securing the user, see, we should have an intelligence to apply those policies. The slide which I was talking about the user context, whether how do we know is from a mobile application? When do we ensure whether he's from a corporate LAN or a public LAN? How do we know he's in corporate device or an uncontrolled device or its own device, right? So we need to have an intelligence, right? That's called context. Either intelligence, like what kind of threats we can face when he comes through his own corporate device or a public device or through a smartphone, or easy, like what kind of a user, like who is that user? Based on that, we can apply certain level of policy. For example, it could be a CIO, it can have a different level of policies compared to a sales guy. HR can have a different policies compared to a marketing guy, right? And what kind of applications is accessing. And the last one is what kind of network he's coming from. He's coming from a corporate network, secure or unsecure network. Right? We need to have. Based on that, we apply controls, right? So what kind of protection we need to give when it comes from XYZ devices, right? What kind of access we should give. If he's a marketing guy, we need to give a certain level of access. If he's like a CIO or CEO, you should give a different level of access. If he's like a sales guy, you can give a different level of access. So we should know like what kind of access to give based on the user. And the applications and web, what kind of applications we need to give more prioritize. Do a bandwidth level shaping, do an application level quality of service, so that we can ensure that the business critical application will never suffer. User might be accessing your share application as well as a Facebook. You can give more priority to the share application so that it is more business critical than a Facebook, right? So finally, we optimize those. Once we know it, we optimize. This is called context aware policy. When we have the intelligence about the user, where is he, what kind of threats he can bring it from, which network he is coming in, based on that we can create the policies. with this, right, like, no matter the user from where he comes, right, we broadly provide the solutions to provide the complete web threat defense. The second is we provide the granular control for the users. That means, like, on the application level, we can configure the policies based on the user and the application level, and we can, whatever the actions the user does, we can always log. Based for your compliance purpose, we can log it. Finally, like, once we do it, we ensure that the performance is met again, right? We secure everything, but if there is no performance, it really do not make the sense. Like, the solution should be, like, securely feasible, as well as user-wise, the user performance also is important. Right. With those user level, the context which we talked about, the user intelligence and the controls, right? With that, like, the solutions what BlueCoat provides. One is global threat protection, right? So the global threat protection is nothing but, like, whether the user comes from the corporate LAN, we have solutions for that, and user comes from the public cloud, we have different solutions for that. Right? So once, no matter from where he comes, all the policies will be global policies. The second one is, like, universal policy. Regardless the context, when we saw about the three different use cases, one is green, yellow, and red, right? So on 3 levels, like, the malware is always blocked. Might be Facebook, the photo is allowed if he comes from an unsecured network. If he's in a secure network, might be is allowed, or if he's unsecured, it's not allowed. So it could be anyways. We can write a global policies based on that. Globally, regardless wherever is he, the malware is always blocked. And the unified reporting. Unified reporting is nothing but whether he's in the corporate LAN or is in the public LAN, all the reporting will be centralized reports. All the logs will be, once the logs is sent, and it will be consolidated in a centralized reporting tool, where you can have a single view for the user. Whether which device it comes from doesn't matter. And the web application and visibility. To control the user, we need the intelligence, like, what kind of application is accessing, what kind of port it is. So in Packet Shaper, we have a solution of Packet Shaper where we classify about 700 different level applications, where based on that we can provide a quality of service and protect the business critical application and block or restrict the recreational traffic. Finally, optimization and caching. Right. With this, the BlueCoat offerings, right? The Proxy SG is an appliance which is our flagship product, which used to protect the global threat. Either it could be in the office or in the cloud, or could be on the mobile. Right? So Proxy SG is our solution for that, and BlueCoat Cloud Solutions. This is for the solutions where this for the users where guys like us, like, will be on field, right? Through cloud-based solution, what we have, where user can have log into the cloud and access the application, where complete user level protection is being provided. BlueCoat Cloud Solutions. And the unified security. Unified security is it's a hybrid solution. Basically, the enterprises, they can have in their head office, they can go for based on the appliance solutions, or for their branches and the roaming users, they can have a cloud-based solution. That's a unified solution. Right. The Packet Shaper. The Packet Shaper is to know what kind of applications you are running in your network. It's basically a QoS. It's such an amazing product, where the moment you put the appliance in your network, by default it classifies around 700 different applications. So based on that, you'd be wondering, most of the times I've seen the customers, like, they would not even know, like, this is the traffic. When most of the customers will be thinking, like, my internet bandwidth is completely choked, like, my utilization is around 90%. Because of that, the users are facing slowness. What are those applications? All they say is, I have HTTP. HTTP can be good and bad. Right? And they say, like, I have SSL. The SSL also can be good and bad. Facebook also can be SSL. And your business critical applications also can be SSL. Your gmail.com is also SSL. Is it a business critical application? Right? So what we can do is, with the Packet Shaper, with the help of Packet Shaper, we can create a policies, and we can restrict the peer-to-peer applications. Either we can block them or we can restrict them. For example, say based on the time, could be FTP uploads during the business are not allowed. Right? Email access during the business hours not allowed. You can write those kind of policies, or you can block it. And the Facebook, like, during the business hours, will limit only 512 kbps of your 10 mbps bandwidth. Doesn't matter if it's slow. You give an access, but still you restrict the bandwidth usage. So you can up to like on the layer 7, we can create a policy up to 700 policies. We have different policies where you can configure, and it can be either utilized for the troubleshooting tool as well. One is to know what is in your network, to configure and protect your applications, and the reporting basically used for troubleshooting. For example, say one of your business critical application might be it's slow, and normally like application guys say because of network it's slow. Is it because of network? Within your network? Where in your network? Blue Packet Shaper has a capability where to divide there's something called server delay, network delay, and the client delay. Means if there's some malicious activity is happening in the user system itself, if the user is responding slow, then nothing cannot do, server cannot do anything, or the network cannot do anything. But overall user experience is slow. Right? The same thing, if the server is taking more time, the network is fine. Right? A user is fine, but the server is for some reason is taking more time to respond to the user, then network is nothing to do with the network. So it helps it provides that kind of granular reports based on the user, based on the port, based on the time, up to 3 years, based on the logs, how much you have. Right? The last one, the cache flow. Cache flow is the caching device which basically catered for ISPs, where we have seen as I said, like a top 10 ISPs in the world, they use cache flows. Basically, we do very good. We are very good at dynamic caching, which is Web 2.0 content especially. Today, like most of the caching devices are failing because the Web 2.0 content is no more cacheable. Number one. Number two, the content pictures are pretty small. The data, what happens normally in the past Web 1.0, right? Every image is like a single packet. In the sense, it could be a single request in that all the packets come. That means the caching device can know how much data is expected from this particular picture. It already knows. But in Web 2.0, it's not the case. It's totally changed. The data is so dynamic, the caching will not work. But the caching with the cache flow, we have seen consistently across the worldwide where they cache anywhere between 35% to 50% of caching we achieve on the ISP level. Right? And the MAC5 solution is for bandwidth optimization, where between two offices where we do compression and decompression between DC, DR, your head office and branch offices where they access your internal applications. Right. With this, all these solutions are collaborated with our WebPulse. So what is WebPulse? Like I'll be taking deep dive a bit more technical on the WebPulse solution. So what is WebPulse solution? What is WebPulse? Right. All our technologies are integrated with the WebPulse. To give a just brief overview, WebPulse is a cloud-based solution. What we have is any customer who has or any of our appliances is like by default he gets a WebPulse protection. That means we have close to around 75 million users worldwide who uses our appliances one or the other way. Could be content filtering, could be a proxy, could be a cloud solution, could be a cache flow, right? And 1 billion requests every day. What happens, like let's assume Unreach, there was an attack which was launched last year, October. There was an Unreach. It was we blocked it before it got attacked. How we blocked it? How we block it? Right? We have a malware experts who does the malware network analysis. What I was talking about malnets, right? We consistently track around 500 malnets worldwide as of today. That means, what do we do? What do we achieve by tracking the malnets? One is we can proactively analyze or predict what kind of attacks can be launched. That is one thing. Second thing is, if there is a new attack launched, if anybody mess with any one of the user, right, the first attack goes through. The moment if it is a malware or it could be a spyware, it could be adware, anything, right? The first attack goes through, that log goes to web cloud. Immediately it goes to all the appliances worldwide. So next user clicks on the same thing, he gets protected. So that's what I was talking about, like the attack which last year happened. The US attacked Saudi as well as Iran, right? All the BlueCoat customers, they were protected. Before it was before the user clicks it, it blocks it automatically. It says this particular link has a spyware or a malware or an ad, anything. It's so, like what happens is, I would say what WebPulse consists of. WebPulse consists of 200 malware engineers who does an on-time online analysis, and we have 15 different AV engines. We have 7 different IPS IDs. One of those block it, we block it. One of the solution could be someone can block it, someone cannot. Right? Apart from that, we have our own intelligence. We have our own solutions which is specifically created to which has a specific intelligence to block or to identify how an attack is launched or how an malware attack is launched. Apart from that, our 500 our engineers consistently track about 500 malnets. That malnets, any new server is added, any new attack, new traffic is generated from that log, we proactively monitor. If we feel it's an attack, we block it. So that's the strength of our Webpulse, where it comes with all of our solutions, right? So based on what and all we will do, along with this, see, all these things what I said is manual, right? It could be like, there could be a delay when we are scanning 14 different AV engines. There could be a delay in when we have 7 different IPS IDS solutions, right? Apart from that, real-time analysis, what we do, which takes less than 2 milliseconds. Real-time analysis based on the reputation of the website. If it's a malnet, already the reputation is bad. It's negative, right? And the traffic pattern, what kind of traffic? There is a standard for HTTP, how the HTTP session has to establish. If there is any deviation, that means there is a traffic pattern changes, right? And the behavior of the content, behavior of the request, how it is originated, right? And the server-side DNA, and the past history of the network. And the last is the content. We look at all these 5 different parameters to decide the real-time analysis, which takes less than 2 milliseconds. If that bypasses, and we have a scanning of these 14 different engines and 17, as well as a malware experts. Malware experts takes typically a day. The 14 different type of antivirus engines and 7 IDS IPS solutions takes about 200 milliseconds for the first request. The moment they block it, it sends the feed for all the proxy SGs whoever using across the world. So next request is blocked for them. This is for the it happens only for the first user. 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, I think I'm almost done. Right. So apart from that, right, the intelligence what we have is like we do multi-dimensional ratings. For example, Facebook is social networking. Facebook / say IBM.com is not social networking. It could be a business. It could be a computers, right? Facebook / Playboy, it could be something else. It's not social networking anymore. So we need to ensure that whether our content-filled solutions, whether they're able to block that accordingly. I've seen the customers when they use it, Facebook.com, it blocks completely. When they use a complete URL, Facebook / Playboy, it goes through. So how effective it is, your content filtering solutions, we need to look at those things, right? And when I was talking about real time, I missed out one more thing. We'll track real time analysis will be done on 21 different languages. Where I spoke about those 5 different solutions, right? Which is reputation, traffic pattern, behavioral, server-side DNA content. This 5-time real-time analysis is done for 21 different languages, not only on English. With this, combined with all those, like with the Webpulse technology, like what we call it as like the next generation security vision, right? Either user could be in headquarters or branch office or mobile user. The Webpulse provides a threat protection for everyone, right? If there is a new this thing, it's blocked everywhere. Either the user is in headquarters, branch office or mobile client, the controls are applied accordingly. Either you can have a universal control. When I'm in a corporate office or I'm in a branch office, I can have a universal policy. But when I'm in a branch office, I can have an Facebook access, but not be in not in when I was in corporate office. You can have a universal policies as well as specific policies to those locations. You have that flexibility as well. Right. Intelligence and control. The last one. Right. This slide again talks about our video. Right. Again, I'm repeating the same thing. Whether the user is a mobile, user branch office, everywhere the Webpulse provides a protection and the universal policies. All the logs is been logged back to the reporter, centralized reporter, where you have a single view where you can see the user reports, what activities the user is doing. Right. Policy as well as reporting. Right. So I think I have another 3 slides I can quickly cover within 2 minutes. These 3 slides. is fine. Okay, fine. Okay, apart from we talk about security, everything, right? Apart from that, few other things. What our proxy does is we do caching. Our proxy, on an average, does anywhere between 25 to 40% caching in any kind of network for the internet content. So our company started as a caching company, which we have a strong 15 years old experience on the caching technologies. So base of our product proxy is a cache. On top of that, we have all our security functions, right? This one thing, this one we need to look at a bit more carefully, right? For example, say, and we would say like, in video caching, we are the market leaders in the world in video caching, especially. One user accesses YouTube in your YouTube picture, he sends out an email with the link, guys, you access everyone, all the data served locally. There's no request goes from there. And we don't it could be like, hey, when you download everything keep it on your box. When the user access, like user will access only 50% and he might close it and go, but you download the entire thing. Does it make sense? No, we will not download everything. Always we download 200 KB of data ahead of the user. So we don't download completely. That means we don't use more bandwidth as well backend, right? So this is the light splitting. What is the light splitting? For example, if you have online trainings, internet-based online trainings where you have multiple users in your branch in a different floors, like, for example, in past I used to work for Wipro where we used to deliver online training for the employees across the branches, right? Where each user will be sitting in his own desk and accessing. Might be like 100 people will be accessing the same video, or it's online streaming which keeps happening, right? The backend will be one connection like that, and the front end will be like will be split to the entire user. That means you end up saving almost 10 times or 20 times of your bandwidth. Let's assume if the video is like 100 MB of data, 100 people are accessing, you end up saving lots of your bandwidth, right? So this is content filtering, like which I was talking about. The Facebook is a farm villa, right? We categorize differently. Not only the social media, we say social media as well as the games, right? We need to look at your solutions today. What are the solutions in your organization? If you use a complete link, right? Most of your solutions will be bypassed because Facebook is Web 2.0 URL. The content is no more Web 1.0. When everything was working fine, when it was Web 1.0, even YouTube is Web 2.0 now. So we need to look at these things. When you click the Steve Jobs, it says it's a different category in the same URL, the same website, right? So basically, what is the objective of this slide is like, in a single URL, the days are gone where Facebook is a social media. Facebook can be anything, right? As a BlueCoat, we categorize a single URL into 4 different categories based on the content, what it is. Whether it could be like, it could be anything. Could be in this case, like it could be games, or it could be like, social networking, or it could be networking and business. Right. Again, it's the same thing, I think we can. So this slide more talks about in the same URL, the Facebook, you can have certain users can send an emails through Facebook, certain users cannot. Certain users can upload the photos, certain users can only download, they cannot upload. You have the flexibility, you can create those kind of policies. And the good thing about BlueCoat is we have close to around Web 2.0 200 different types of control for Web 2.0. So we are the only vendor who has that many controls on Web 2.0 content. And in the roadmap, we have close to around like, we are planning to add another 100 controls in next 1 quarter. This is basically for 2.0 content. Is it only for 2.0 content? No. Those policies can be configured even Web 1.0 content as well. But specifically for 2.0 content, because the way the traffic or the protocol behaves is totally different in Web 2.0 compared to Web 1.0. With that, I'm done. So you guys have any questions?
You can take 2 or 3 questions.
No questions, I guess. Hope it was more informative. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.